all you sports fans out there in the tubosphere, or to you, the individual, as part of the collective. Welcome to Fast Track Sports Rack, highlights here on Talk Radio version of the OMSR. I am your brief but very concise host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrills. Some of you, a lot of you, repeat viewers, at least sub-wise, know by now, always do a little voiceover intro show like this, let you know the clip order coming up, and the wise to where for. So we got 2 shows, 4 parts. You know we are based on the title, but the title cannot contain all of the descriptive elements. So, briefly and concisely. Show 1, parts 1 and 2. Jameis Winston and his insurance policy. Smart move. University of Florida and their Legends calendar. Dumbass move. PR debacle with Aaron Hernandez on there. With the caveat, things were set in motion before all that brouhaha went down at this time last year. That stuff is covered on the channel as well on the Paula Tai Chi playlist. Then in show 2, parts 1 and 2, we got the group of death and the group of life floating around on a fluffy cloud, making it easy to win a division championship. Yeah, I don't think that's always the case. Quickie Sport Rant is going to be about how CFB Live and the OMSR seem to be joined telepathically, because I did make a comment about, you know, can we do away with the in the lounge with CFB Live? Maybe Bob Costas will stop by with some of his more Olympic montage type elements as I wave my hand. Okay, enough of that. Boom, they changed over to the This Is College Football Live set, the set. So hear me out on that sport rant. You know where we are based on the title. This is the baseline show. You can fast forward if you want to come back and see the other parts. Good stuff going on. In the meantime, roll clips.
Welcome to College Football Live. I'm Danny Cannell alongside Joe Shad and Robert Smith. And while the entire country is crazy about football, so are we. Just a little bit of a different brand of it. And we're here to hit all the news of the day. And guess who's in it? No surprise, Jameis Winston, the Heisman Trophy winner. Not necessarily bad news, though. Good news possibly for Seminole fans. He purchased a $10 million insurance possibility, protecting him against permanent disability. But get this, also loss of value, which is a little bit unique. Most of the policies out there purchased are against guys only if they get hurt. But this, in my opinion, is a very smart move for Jameis Winston, protecting if he does have a down year following the exceptional season he had last year.
He's not going to have a down year. Jameis Winston is not a finished product. But I don't think there's any correlation between this decision to get an insurance policy and whether or not this is his last year in college football. His dad can go on the record time after time after time, interview after interview, which he's doing right now, saying my son's going to be at Florida State for 2 more years. And I think when push comes to shove, he'll end up making the only logical decision, which is when you're a top 10 pick, you take that $15 million guaranteed and you run your butt to the National Football League.
Let's not say it's the only logical decision. You only play college football once in your life, and as an old, grizzled veteran of the game and all that kind of stuff, it's a special experience, and clearly Jameis Winston is enjoying it. He likes playing baseball, he likes playing football, he's enjoying college football. I don't think that it's the only logical decision to make. If you've got that kind of insurance policy, that's $10 million guaranteed. $10 million guaranteed tax-free, as opposed to maybe $15 million guaranteed. It's not like it used to be where guys would sign at the top of the draft and get $40 or $50 million guaranteed. Those kind of contracts aren't out there anymore. So do I think that he's going to stay another year? I really don't. I think he's going to play this year and be done. But I wouldn't say that it's the only logical decision. It wouldn't surprise, or it wouldn't stun me if he stayed another year.
You mentioned that Jameis Winston is enjoying the college experience. He's also getting in trouble, being investigated for certain things, also being looked into by the police for certain things. Okay, so you wonder, maybe is Jameis Winston's best interest to go ahead and move on and become a professional and get away from that college town lifestyle.
Do you think it's going to get any better in a big city, an NFL city? You know, I mean, it's going to get worse. You have more temptation out there.
Absolutely. And if you want to prove that you're bigger than the problems that you've been facing, you stick around and you face them. You just say, hey, I'm here, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I don't really care about all this controversy.
One of the reasons that everybody's saying that, well, maybe Jameis will actually stay around for 2 years is because he loves baseball so much, and he wants that chance to play another year of baseball. I think when you're the top quarterback in the National Football League draft, you need to go ahead and throw all your focus and attention towards one sport, towards football. I don't think it's realistic.
But he's already won a national championship and a Heisman Trophy while he was playing too.
All the reason why he should go ahead and go on.
And move on to the NFL. Yeah,
so when guys come back, they often say, oh, I want to win a Heisman. I want to win a
But Jameis is very serious, and I talked to him about this at the Heisman Trophy ceremony. He would love to be the next Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders. It's not just a hobby, let's have fun. And he's got legitimate stuff as a baseball player. He throws 90+.
Is that a good idea? Is it realistic for him to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League and a professional
It's a long shot. It's a long shot without a question. But in today's NFL,
you're right.
Well, not if he's a closer and they keep such track of his pitch count where they take care of his arm. He comes in limited situations. He only pitches a couple innings here or there. But ultimately, I think if you're Jameis Winston, you're looking at this situation. And look, his plan from day one, hey, we're going to stay and do 3 years of football. But his dad, the most important value his dad wants to see out of him is getting his degree and getting that out of there. Ultimately, you can go back and get your degree. I used to be really old school, hard line, stay 4 years. You have to walk with your class and take care of business and finish it. But ultimately, if he comes out, has a similar type season, and he's projected even top 15 picks, I just believe it's too much money to pass.
2009, Sam Bradford wins the Heisman Trophy. He was a redshirt sophomore, could have gone pro, came back for his junior year, lost 4/5 of his starting offensive line, which Jameis Winston might lose his entire offensive line if he actually comes back for yet another season after this year. Remember, I asked Sam Bradford, are you afraid you're going to get hurt? You got a and sure enough, first game, I'm on the sideline, BYU, guy comes flying through, nails him, breaks his collarbone. He only played a few games that season. Now, Sam Bradford came back being the first pick anyway, so it worked out fine for Sam Bradford, but the risk of injury is...
University of Florida, look, they've had their image issues the last several years, a couple issues off the field, and this one is not going to do them any benefit. They came out with a promotional calendar. Guess who Mr. July is for the year of 2014? None other than tight end Aaron Hernandez. Now, I think this is a disastrous PR move. I know there was an agreement in place earlier, a licensing agreement where they agreed on it 2013 before Aaron Hernandez was arrested, but there is no way you can let this go on. You've got to do everything in your power if you're the University of Florida to get this calendar off the shelves. It is a horrendous look.
Well, look, obviously the University of Florida would prefer that a calendar for this year not include Aaron Hernandez, but you can't blame them. All they did was license the product. I mean, go to the distributor, go to the stores. If I was an owner of a store, I would send the calendars back to the distributor or mark them down at 25% and tell the distributor you're only going to get a small cut on this. I mean, what can Florida do? Florida can't go...
They've got to do everything in their power.
Look, they have a responsibility to uphold the image of the school. That is their responsibility. They need to go and do it. I think it has to be that you go and you say cease and desist, you revoke the license. I mean, you have to do whatever you can to get that pulled. It's terrible PR. And these licensors, they always have these force majeure, and clearly this isn't an act of God. This is a criminal act. But you have those clauses in there where you can pull this stuff back. You can go and say, look, this is so damaging to the university to continue with this that you need to stop selling these calendars. And they're going to have some insurance. I'm sure that their inventory, that they had these things printed, and you can buy back that inventory probably with some insurance.
Well, Florida, they not only had off-the-field issues, they've had on-the-field issues, coming off a 4-8 year. And I was reading some preseason publications and found it pretty interesting. Phil Steele, being one of our own ESPN.com insider, had him in his top 25. And I looked at it and said, how can that be? How can a team that's 4-8, a disastrous season, I know they've got some guys returning, but why do you put them in that top 25? For me, they've got to show me something before they get in that top 25.
I don't think your preseason polls should have anything at all to do with what the record was.
But wouldn't a record last year indicate what you've got?
I mean, look at all the things that went wrong for Florida last year, most notably injury. to their quarterback, their running back, their receivers, their offensive linemen, their linebackers. All their best players were injured. Okay, so
and they were blocking each other.
And they were blocking each other. I think in the preseason poll, you say, how good do I think this roster is? How good do I think this team will be? And for that reason, I actually put Florida 15 in my preseason poll.
15 is a little bit high. I think playing at Alabama, at Florida State, and
tough schedule. Yeah. But I don't look at schedule. I don't say, well, because they have a hard schedule, I'm going to move them down in my preseason ranking. I just look at the talent on the roster. Now, you see, I'm always 15th. They're my 7th best SEC team.
Yeah, see, this is, for me, I always try and project what it's going to look like at the end of the year. I think they're going to be a much better team, and I have absolutely no problem with them being in the top 25. I think that they're a top 25 team. We talk about regression to the mean all the time. This is a progression to the mean for Florida this year. All those reasons that you mentioned. You talk about the offensive line. We talk about injuries all over the field. There have just been so many of those things that go wrong. Look back 2 years ago. This is an 11-2 football team that lost to Florida in the well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say the world's largest cocktail party anymore, but I just said it. But they had 6 turnovers in that game. And, of course, they lost in the bowl game to Louisville and Teddy Bridgewater. But that team was very close to going undefeated that day.
I'll give you a reason why they could be good. That's because they have the new offensive coordinator, Kurt Roper. If you can get Jeff Driscoll turned around, turn him more into a playmaker instead of a game manager, they've got incredible talent on defense, no doubt about it.
All right. Informative, entertaining things being portrayed there. Gotta love Danny Cannell. If you're watching part 1, was that part 2? I've already lost track of myself. With the flag draped over. Doing the, yeah, that's part 2. Doing the, well, if we're concerned, we're paying attention to, as many Americans were yesterday, this being Wednesday, yesterday, Tuesday, USA, Belgium, with the flag. They're on the set. Awesome stuff. All right, quickie sport rant. So it's not like I'm suggesting ESPN takes their cues from me. Oh, no. Other way around. There's not a reciprocal relationship going on here. However, if you miss college football live, which I wholeheartedly recommend watching, or you're not able to watch it again in repeat mode on ESPNU, you can always come to the OMSR. Gives you a great alternative because I pinpoint different subject matter and break it or split it off into 2 separate shows. Not only because it makes it more precise based on what you want to see, but you can't borrow from any one source too much. Vis-a-vis the OMSR sponsor being the DMCA, minimal use, fair use standard, and all that jazz. But there's a reason why the show just the other day, which would be Monday, because I was just having a hard time with the last 2 weeks. You know, the lag time between the show done yesterday, which may in fact be the last time they ever did this, in the lounge. Sitting there on the couches, socks riding up high, no ties. No. Leave that sort of stuff for Sports Nation. This is college football live. They came back to the set. And they probably made that decision before I was able to throw in my 2 cents worth. But I dare say there's no one else on YouTube who does a pro bono sports show who puts in as much time and effort into profiling and highlighting college football live. Because, let's face it, when it comes to college sports, the OMSR focusing on the big 2 of FB and BB is where it's at. Heaven is August to the national championship in the tournament. Wait a week, it starts all over again. So I'm glad to see they went back to that. Telepathically, all I'm suggesting is what I was thinking is what they were thinking. They made the changes. All the video highlights courtesy to ESPN and College Football Live. Everything else to the OMSR. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching those silly DUIs while you're out there. Still watching the World Cup. Still worthy of being watched. Even though our guys had a good outing, but they're out. Be able to celebrate the 4th of July here with the rest of us. It's a win-win despite the loss. We are later out here.